These days, strength has become something you demonstrate. It's a single moment that fits into a 10-second video. Scroll through social media and you'll see it everywhere. People posting insane PRs, hitting their heaviest lift, their fastest sprint, or their most shredded physique. And sure, pushing your limits is part of growth, and it's the moment that makes us feel the best. However, what really constructs your progress is those silent moments that would not get views. It's the consistency of going back every day, showing up every day, even when progress feels slow, even when nothing feels new, and even when you don't want to train. Consistency is the foundation every athlete stands on. It's the promise that no matter what happens outside yourself, no matter how the environment around changes, you will show up and keep moving forward. Because that's the only way true progress can happen. So, I've been going to the gym for almost 4 years now, and I would say I'm always motivated to go to the gym. It never happens that I want to skip a training session, simply because for me, training is very fun. I go to the gym with music, have fun. Of course, I train hard, I push my limits, but I don't interpret it as suffering, as something extremely difficult. So the problem here is that I didn't have a stimulus to do something hard inside my training sessions because I was always having fun. But then, about a year and a half ago, I started running. And here things changed. It was a new stimulus to my body. I wasn't used to it. And it was extremely and is extremely difficult to me. So, since I know that when I'm about to train, I'm about to get into intense suffering for a long period of time, I usually don't want to run. In fact, most of the times I need to go for a run, I don't want to do it. So I start thinking about all the possible excuses to skip this run. So, yeah, oh, you already train a lot. It's okay if you skip this run. You know, today the weather isn't the best. You could just stay home and study a bit more. Things like that. Of course, deep inside, I know it's wrong. I'm just making excuses. I'm coping with myself not to run and not to train hard. So, after this initial moment of weakness that everybody must overcome, I put my shoes on and start running. Now, things here start changing because actually I get quite into the mood of running. So, I start feeling my breath at the same pace of my legs. In general, I start feeling a good vibe around myself. But then when my warm up finishes, I realize, okay, now I'm about to start suffering, and here the real training begins. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This wouldn't get views because you would see just a guy running in silence with no music, no friends, nothing, just running alone. And of course, it's not very interesting to see. But it's exactly in this moment that progress begins. When you start suffering so much, you would be willing to forgo everything and just stop running, but you go on. So usually, when during the week I have my two high intensity training sessions for running, I just want to stop running midway through the run because I feel my breath is totally out of pace, my legs are hurting. I would just stop for any reason. However, I keep going. And the thing I tell myself to keep on going is very simple. Like, I tell myself, if I am literally not about to vomit, faint, or black out, there is no reason in the world to stop. These are only the three possible cases, like physical impossibility to go on. Otherwise, I'm just coping and I'm lazy. So it's not a valid reason to stop running. And so I go on till the end. Now, this sounds quite easy telling it like this, but of course, in reality, it's way harder. It's like half an hour of mental fight against myself, deciding whether I should go or stop or not. But then, of course, while I tell myself these things, I go on running. I cover distance and time. So my training session starts expiring. And this is great because for those 5 minutes of mental fighting, a part of my training has already passed, meaning less time is left to the end. Now, I realize that this is not a great method because it means I'm not enjoying fully my training session. However, it's something that works for me, and usually after those 5 or 10 minutes of suffering, my mind clears out a bit and I just go till the end of the run. Now, to get back to my starting point about consistency, the key here is that you really should not let the external environment influence yourself and your training sessions. Sometimes it could be the weather. Sometimes it could be bad news you received at school or at work. Or sometimes it could simply be you don't want to train. But you have to remember that a bad training session, a training session where you do not want to train but still show up and put in the effort and maybe have a mediocre workout, is better than not having worked out. Simply because you showed up. That's it. That makes you better than not training. And in those moments, true consistency and true progress is built. So it could be a bit lame. It could sound a bit against morals. But sometimes when I don't want to train and I still do it, I simply think, why should I do it? And the answer is simply to be better than others. Now, you could think this is so lame. You're comparing yourself with others. That's not good. That's not healthy. Well, yeah, it could be, but still, it works for me. Motivating myself, comparing myself with others, of course, only on this aspect. So just be better than others because you showed up to training. For me, it works. Now, you can try it on yourself. I don't know. This is my personal recommendation. It has always worked for me. And yeah, that's it for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it.